follow through. And the funny thing is, if you guys have been here for a while, my group name, this group, when I originally set it up in 2017, 5 years ago, it was called Power of Follow Through. And so you can see the consistency that I've had in my message and in what I've been sharing with you guys and what I've been bringing to the table for the last 5+ years. But running this very group started out as Power of Follow Through. And here we are, full circle, almost 5 years later, just over 5 years later. The Power of Follow Through workshop is coming at you. And this is part of a whole series that's been going on since the end of May when we started with the Power in Planning challenge. It was a 7-day challenge of actual work, not one of those fluffy challenges where you're just sold something the whole time, but where you're actually challenged to do the work to change your business. So let me know. I'm going to have the chat open in Zoom for those of you who are here. Say hi. Let me know that you are here, that you're listening in, that you're tuning in, and you can throw your questions up there as we're going through. I will go through and answer them when little breaks come in the presentation. I just knocked my jar over off my desk thing here. All right. Hey. So say hi if you are in the group. I will try to stay on top of the comments there too. And sometimes Facebook shows me comments. Sometimes Facebook does not. So that's okay. Please forgive me. I will always be back in the group, in the comment area to answer your questions if I don't get to them today, but I'm kind of saving the questions for the end. So if I glance down and see something that's maybe not entirely relevant to what we're talking about, or something that needs to be answered more in depth, I might hold off till the end to cover it so that we don't go on too much of a tangent during the exercise and the information that I'm sharing right now. So, we've got more people joining in Zoom. So as you guys join in Zoom, I'm going to leave the Zoom room open for this training so that people can come in and catch the Q&A at the end. And if you're seeing this in the Facebook group and you have the link to join in Zoom, do that. Join in Zoom so that you can get the most out of this. But I get it. Whatever is working for you today, it can work for us. So let's do it. I have, of course, a little presentation to share. I'll just make sure that it is at the start. So I've been doing this, guys, for a while now. It's oops, let me stop that for a second. You don't need to share my entire screen, but admit. Hey guys, so I'll one day hopefully be able to share my screen flawlessly. But for now, you get to just watch me stumble through, and make sure that you are using the chat feature. Make sure that you're using the comments if you're on Facebook, so that we can do this, so that we can get your questions answered, so you can get real value out of what we've got going on. So if you are new to the group, and I've had quite a few people join in the last few days since the summit, let's just recap what I'm all about. So if you saw the summit presentation, or if you've seen me live or participated in some of my trainings before, I am a project manager, and that means that I calm your chaos. Okay. A lot of my clients come to me busy and maybe getting stuck at their results, hitting a plateau because they can't take on any more work. So they're not able to grow their wealth or their results or their business. overwhelmed. They're not living their lives. They are working constantly, just trying to survive. And what I do is make sense of that chaos and set up a real business plan. And some of my resources you'll see in Member Vault, if you registered and have access to it, it says, you know, make calm of your chaos. I'll say get organized. There are the get organized resources. There's getting real about your business. There are all these things that will take you out of the hustle mode where you're constantly working for minimum results, right? Or you feel like you're busting your butt for every dollar that you make. And we take you out of that and allow you to stand confidently in what you want to do in your business, and um and get organized in it so that you know what's coming and you're not overworking yourself constantly. And Shamika, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while, my girl. Awesome to see you on here. Um, Guys, so say hi in the chat. We can have some chatter going on. We'll get the most out of this, okay? I'm going to hop into it. Hey, so good to see you. Um, so the thing is, and it sounds crazy because everybody says it, but you can have more time for living. Um you can have it all, right? You can have both. I have 3 kids now. I have this business running. I have the one-on-one clients. I have group programs going. And when you have a plan in place and you follow through on it, which is what we're here to talk about, and it it can happen with far less effort than that popularity contest, that constant hustling really gets us stuck in. So we do it with a plan, which is what I just said. You'll notice that that I start talking and telling stories, and I skip ahead on my slides, and I have the slides there to keep me on track. And most of the time I'm a freestyler. I'm a freestyler. So I've been doing this for a while. I've worked all across North America. I've also worked internationally as well on different projects and expansion plans for businesses, from anywhere from retail, construction, online businesses, coaches, um, educators, government officials, all of it. Business plans, our business plans, our business plans, our business plans, and your behavior, your organization, your follow through. It's non-discriminatory. All right, it works across the board. It works. It works. So I'm bringing you these transformations. I'm bringing you these systems, these strategies, and these realizations that you're not stuck. You can set up a sustainable business without hustling constantly, um, and get those results right now. So we're going to do a little get down get down to brass tacks kind of a thing right now. And I want to tell you guys how it is that I set up business plans so you can kind of get the idea of how you are more easily able to follow through on the actions that you need to grow your business when we work out a business plan for you, in the way that I do. And I've been working with online entrepreneurs in this capacity for the last 7 years since my son was born, and well, a few months after he was born. But I worked previously in the corporate world on huge expansion projects with, you know, big deal, multi-billion-dollar companies, um, for about 10 years previous to that. So what I did was take all the best practices that I learned as a certified project manager, a business development and marketing professional, and brought it into your life as an entrepreneur. I was a mom. I am a mom. I'm a mom to even more humans now. And I was on my own. I was taking care of a farm. I was doing all the things in a not so ideal living situation with my ex-husband, and and was able to build my business up to support myself and my kids, and to start over from the ground up. And if some of you are just hopping in, I had previously had my dream home. I had the horses, I had the farm, I had the gardens, I had everything that I believed that I had wanted physically, I guess, those tangible things. But spiritually, emotionally, heart heart kind of stuff wasn't quite there at all. And I left it. I left all of it, including, clothes, including my horses, including everything that I had and that I had worked for in my life up until that point, and rebuilt, rebuilt with my business, just this, no support in any other capacity, other than my mom and dad, and moved across the country with my kids and my dog, and built myself back up. Hey, Elaine, and built myself back up. So this is, I know the demands that life has on us. I know the demands that, financially, we're living in the real world. There are bills to pay. There are mouths to feed. There are kids that need your attention. And there's kids that you want to give your attention to. It's not that they're a burden. It's it's a necessity. It's a necessity. Or if you're just in, sister, I get it. If you're just in the process of rebuilding, you can. And I've got goosebumps just thinking about where I was, and everything that I had walked away from. And actually, if you are like, stick around in this group, I don't know if you've seen on my profile, if you've checked that out, but we just bought a very fancy trailer the other day. Um, and we are going across Canada as a family this summer, and I'm going back to the place that I left 4 years ago. I'm going back to see my horse that I haven't seen in 4 years, and she was like a child to me, right? I'm going back to all of it, so it's going to be a bit of an adventure, to see the friends I haven't seen, to see the home that I had to leave behind. And man, it's gonna be cool. And doing it with my new partner, my fiance, right? In a whole different perspective than the last time I was there. So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy good though. So yes, what do you have to have in place for your business? And when I did this, I didn't take out the life stuff, right? So you need to know what you need to have a desire to grow. But these four principles that I'm going to talk about are really need to be a part of everything you do in your business. So what they are, and I've named it the Power and Planning Map, and we really dove into this in a boot camp just a couple of weeks ago. If you want to see the replay of that boot camp, you can. It's still in the group. If you want to, just talk about it in the group, just let me know. And we can. I'm going to be talking about these things on repeat because they are so important and are left behind with a lot of the training that I see entrepreneurs getting online. Whereas the principles of actually running a real business are left behind, and people are just showing up to get engagement online. And engagement, as we all know, does not pay the bills. So, so here are the four principles of the Power and Planning Map that need to be present and need to have a part of every aspect of your business, every action that you're taking. You need awareness, you need framework, follow through, and performance. Okay, so the awareness is knowing why you're doing it. The awareness is knowing what result it's going to bring you. The awareness is knowing what you actually want, right? And being aware of what will serve you and being aware of what your clients' needs are. All of that awareness needs to be in every piece of your business and your action plans. The framework around it, I end up working with a lot of creatives, a lot of creative types, writers, artists, and the framework piece always gives them chills, like not in a good way. They shudder. I will call it a shudder because they're like, "Oh, I just don't work well with framework. I just can't." But the framework is what allows your business to flow. And I always use the example of a riverbank, right? The riverbank without the banks on the side of the river, the framework of the river is just a puddle. It'll just be a mess of water all over the place, um, and it won't have direction. It won't be guided to its destination. It's just a bunch of water with no movement, right? With no flow. And so the framework is something that you have to have in place to have a business. Um, when we set it up, the way that I set framework up, uh, you set it once. You set it up once, and then you're allowed to flow in your business. Then you're allowed to flow up in your creativity. You're allowed to flow in your and in the gifts that you share with your clients. You're allowed to support them in what they need because the framework of the business part is done, is systematized, is automated, so you don't have to worry about it. I can't think of a better analogy, and it came to me just after visiting the river uh, f- 4 or 5 years ago, and I had rocks around me that we picked up at the river, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is how it works. This is how it works." And it just there's no other analogy that I can think of to express how powerful framework can make you and make your business. It's a necessity if you want to move forward and if you want to flow. So the follow through piece, we are touching on that today. There are so many aspects of it that I'm going to have more of these workshops to bring to you. And I also have some announcements at the end of our time here together, um, that will help you dive into what is holding you back, what is holding you back from following the plans that you have for yourself, and really set up rewards for yourself, set up a feeling of accomplishment before you've done the work to encourage you to do it. Different sort of uh, interventions on your sabotaging yourself, all those kind of things. There are so many different aspects that we can work through on the follow through and your behavior around it, that it's going to be there are going to be a couple of these power of follow through workshops so that you guys can get all the answers that you need. And the other piece is performance, and that's evaluating the results that you're getting from the pieces of the pie that you have created. That's, showing up at your peak. That's scheduling yourself in a way that works for you and your life, that you are able to show up and support your clients. It's evaluating the action that you're taking, it's evaluating your energy, it's evaluating all of it, and really making sure that you are able to perform in the the setup that you've created for yourself, in the framework that you've created for yourself, in the offers that you've created for yourself. So these four pieces are everything, everything that you need in your business. So we're speaking generally. Um, this is what we covered in the 7 days of the Power in Planning boot camp challenge, is setting up these things for yourself so that your business can grow. So your business is fully supported. So your life is fully supported. And that's awareness in every aspect. That's considering and building your business around your life responsibilities. So that's like kids, that's cleaning the house, that's setting yourself up and scheduling things for your business, the work that you have to do in it. We talked about positioning and not holding yourself back from where you want to be, but positioning yourself in the market where you desire to be. And there's no position in the market that's called startup. There's no position in the market that's called trying. Those are positions in social media camaraderie, in social media popularity contests, and becoming maybe an influencer of sorts, but not in business building and not in real marketing. This is social media that has things like startups, like trying, like beta offers. All those things are very social media. Um, they only really pertain to social media influencer types. If you are building a real business and you want to be real about your business, you position yourself and you grow. And that's it. And that's what inspired the book that I wrote 2 years ago. You launch your business and you grow it. There is none of this try. There is none of this startup stuff. It's just decide, do it, and grow. So you guys can see the other things there is setting up rewards, understanding what's holding you back, and performance, and then investing. And when we talk investing, it's investing your time, your energy, and your money, and not getting caught up in what other people are telling you you need, but being aware again of what you actually need in your business and finding that instead of reacting to people's marketing messages or their ads, but knowing what you need in your business and finding exactly that, interviewing coaches before you work with them instead of getting on a call waiting to be manipulated into giving them money, right? Where they're going to have this script, they're going to walk you through certain questions and all these things, and you are being sold to instead of you employing them to contribute to your business, instead of you investing in your business with their knowledge, with their mentorship, with their resources, with their know-how. um you end up being sold to instead of investing. So there's a big shift there that is so powerful, especially when I keep talking about taking your power back. And of course, next slide is about taking your power back. And we're going to do some of that today. So part of it is getting trapped in this struggle, right? It's not your blueprint. So let's just start there. You get stuck trying to build your business. You get stuck reacting to people's ads and them telling you what you need in your business instead of you sourcing what you need in your business. And you get stuck in that because it's not yours. So so big energy shift right here as we start talking about follow through and what the hangups might be and where you might be stuck. So if we look at this peak performance quadrant, we have concentration, we have flow and ease, we have frustration, and we have daydreaming. And you'll see how I've marked, I'll just use this instead of my fingers. Concentration, flow and ease, this is where you are focused and doing your work. Okay. This side of working, being productive, requires more effort. And for most of you, if you're here, if you are a client of mine, if you're thinking about being a client of mine, these require more effort for you, right? The planning, framework, researching, all of those kind of project management things that I eat for breakfast and just love doing, and they light me up because I'm a nerd like that, which is great for you. because you would rather be at the effortless work where you're working with your clients, where you're living your lifestyle, where your expertise gets to shine. And that's where the flow is, right? It's effortless for you to be productive in that. The business building, the framework, the planning, the evaluation, the digging into awareness, overcoming your limiting beliefs, working on following through on the action that your business needs for you to thrive takes more effort, right? When you are following other people's blueprints, when you're following other people's models, when you're following and trying to achieve what other people have achieved, you end up unfocused. You end up either frustrated, right? So you are frustrated, you're frozen, so you're not actually taking any action. You're coming up with excuses as to why you can't do it yet. And or you flight, right? Fight or flight. So you're hustling. You're just go, 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 burnout. You recover, go, 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 burnout. And that happens on repeat. The other part is daydreaming, where you are on your phone, you're scrolling through things, you're avoiding the work, but you are still putting effort into it, right? So it's not hard to scroll through your phone and comment on people's stuff. It's not hard to avoid doing the work that you actually need to do. So you could do that without burning out, but we end up in here when we aren't following our own blueprint. So part of what people get stuck in with follow through is that they aren't honoring themselves. They aren't honoring what they actually want. They're trying to do what other people have done. Um, and they don't want to, and you don't want to, so let me know if you think if you would follow through more, if it would be easier to follow through on the action plan that was something that you wanted to do, that supported your clients, that supported your ideal lifestyle, that supported your expertise in how you want to deliver your programs. And I see Elaine said, I've kind of been hopscotching between concentration, frustration, and daydream. Yeah, and that's one of the things, and Tiffany's like, hands up. Yes. It is easier when you have this concentration support. And I'm not just saying that because that's what I do. This is what I've seen time and time and time again with entrepreneurs, especially in the online industries, where it's like, okay, I have to work. And when you are work on planning, on setting up funnels, and you need to fix this landing page, and you're focusing on all the back end stuff, you're not showing up for your clients. You're not showing up for it in your strength. You're not showing up in your, empowered message. You're hiding, maybe subconsciously, maybe not. You're hiding behind the work of planning, of framework, of fixing, of this, of perfection. And and then you end up with the excuses, right? Yeah, you do go between these things because you're getting burnt out. You're not getting results when you're in the concentration zone all the time because you're not working in your expertise. So then it's like, well, I just saw an ad that this chick made $10,000 in a day, so I'm going to do exactly what she did. And then you're reinventing your business again, and you end up not getting the results because you're following somebody else's idea. What brought them success. They came from a totally different background than you did, and they're going somewhere differently than you did. They're offering their courses and their programs in a different way than you want to, but you're hoping that if you copy what they did, you'll get the results that they got, and you never do. And you never do. There are, so many big promises out there that if you scrap everything you've built in your business and you follow exactly what I did to make $1 million, you will make $1 million too. And do you know how successful the how successful that is, like how successful those clients become that buy into it. And I've seen it more than not that people buy into those programs and they end up with absolutely nothing from it, and realize after they've completely revamped their business to be the way this guru said it should be, that they don't even like what they have set up, and they just wanted the results that they were promised, but didn't achieve it. Have you guys done that? I've done that myself, where it's like, "Okay, I'm going to totally rewrite my sales page. I'm going to totally revamp my offer. Gonna have this offer stack that says, a call with me is worth that much, and my Facebook group is worth this much, and being here is worth that much, and this free course is now worth $3,000, and this thing." And then you make people think, they're getting such a deal at $2,000 because it's actually worth 50,000. Um, and and if people can't apply these offer stacks, it's worthless to them, really. So knowing what you need, that awareness that I talked about a lot earlier, knowing what you need and seeking that will help you to invest more wisely so you don't get caught in those traps. And I talk about that a lot in the performance piece, evaluating who you're collaborating with, evaluating what you're investing in. Is it going to bring you forward? Is it going to improve what you're doing? Or is it changing it completely to achieve somebody else's results? Right? So many pieces of it, guys. But what these principles do for you is build you your real business, your business where you're doing what you want to do with the people you want to do it with in a way that you feel good doing it, where work doesn't feel like work, where you're not dragging your heels to go post in somebody else's Facebook group again, and all those things that you really don't want to be doing, but you're told you have to do to build your business. I've worked with so many different people in so many different industries, and none of them look the same. None of their businesses look the same as each other. Okay. So you also probably, and let me know if you've seen this too, where people work with a particular coach in a mastermind or in a group program or membership or something, and they all end up having the same sort of hashtag keywords, calling each other divas, or calling each other boss babes, or calling each other whatever it is. They all end up using the same terminology. Or have you ever seen people all of a sudden change their cover photos on Facebook, or they change their logos, and then you're like, "Oh, she must be working with this coach, or she must be part of that group now." And you can tell who people are working with based on what they're outputting, based on what their business has now become, right? And that is not what honoring yourself or honoring your vision, honoring your life, your responsibilities, that's not what it is about. Um, it's letting go of, it's devaluing yourself. It's devaluing your responsibilities. It's trying to, separate you and becoming a part of either like a clique or a community or whatever it is, and not building a business that is authentic. And that in itself is not sustainable. That is exhausting. That is demoralizing. It's not a great way to build your business. So, have you guys seen that? Have you seen the the twinsies, the ones that all end up looking the same, having the same branding and everything? I've seen it so often, and it always ends up the same. Really, they end up switching 4, 5, 6 months in. All of a sudden, they take a break. They're gone for months at a time, recovering from burnout, and they come back with a new brand, with something new, new offer, uh, totally new message, totally new services, and it's almost like they're starting over. So when you can honor yourself in all of these areas, being aware of what you want, what you're responsible for, kids, dog, house, parents, whatever you have going on, uh, you can sustain your business. You can sustain that because you're not faking it, because you're not trying to ignore it, because you're not trying to rise above what might seem like a burden to this diva lifestyle that you're going for. So I want you guys to take a second and look at where you might need the support. Okay, which one of these things would help you in following through on a business that is ideally your own, to support you in all of these areas, right? To get you showing up where you want to be, to have a schedule that supports your life, to, have rewards that feel good to you. Maybe you're into Louis Vuitton, maybe you're into puppies, maybe you're into flowers, maybe you're into charcuterie, maybe you're into taking cake decorating courses, maybe you want to go to a concert. You need to honor who you are, what you want out of life, and what you're responsible for in life. So let's do a little show of hands, or just type a number in the comments, or in the chat if you're on Zoom, to let me know which one of these things would help you the most right now. So when we look at number one, I'm saying a life and business plan. And that is where you can look at what you have going on in a big picture kind of way, so that you can make space for the things that you want to experience. If you find yourself on your couch working constantly on your phone, if you find yourself out and about, busy off your tree all the time, and you have no time for work, if you're running around like mom taxi, if you are taking one workshop or one webinar after the other and not actually implementing yourself, consuming too much, right? This life and business plan, a life and business plan will give you a big picture overview of where the balance is off, and where you can give and where you can take, and make it work ideally for you. So Elaine's already saying 1, 3, 5. Yes. So if we look at number two, and this, you'll probably want this too, is the business headquarters. For a nerdy project manager like myself, the business headquarters is your one-stop shop for everything you need in your business. And it's clickable, it's linkable. You have your branding there, you have your messaging, you have your bio, you have your headshots, you have links to all your groups, you have links to all your clients' emails, your content calendar, your marketing strategy, contacts for your podcast interviews. All your things are on one page. You go to it, and that's where you run your business from. None of this go to one app, go to another app, go to this app, that app, this app. You sit down in the morning, or whenever you decide is the best time for you to sit and do your work, and you open up your business headquarters and do the things that the dates on these little cards tell you need to be done. There's no question, there's no stirring the thoughts around in your head about what you should be doing. It's all spelled out there for you, and that's all you need to do. So that's what your business headquarters is, and I freaking love it. What would that look like for service-based business? It has all of your marketing in place. It has your calendars linked up. It has addresses. It has your CRM there for your clients. Everything is set up like your own, Netflix. Does that make sense? But it's all of your resources at a finger click. It's every organizational tool that you need, in one place, so that you don't have to look around on different softwares. You don't have to go anywhere. You go to this one business headquarters and clickety click, do your work. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. No guesswork, no wandering, no getting on YouTube randomly and going down weird rabbit holes. Um, that's number 2. So, procedures and boundaries, and having this in place, especially if you're thinking about building a team at some point, you need to know what your team is going to be doing. You need to know what the next step is. You need to know who you work with and who you don't. You need to know your expertise. And one of the best ways that I do this is by having like a Rolodex, to refer people to experts that aren't in the project management, efficiency, you know, setting up your business to scale kind of zone. So things like mindset, I do work in mindset with my clients, but I'm not a mindset coach. I'm not a money coach. I'm not a this coach. I am setting up your real business, making sure that it's your business supports your life and everything you want that to look at. So set up your boundaries. You need to set up your boundaries. And if you look in the files in our group on Facebook, you'll see something called You're Fired, and you will see another resource called Your Boundaries, setting up your boundaries. And it's a little worksheet. For those of you who registered and have access to my member vault, I will put those worksheets into the modules for the Power of Follow Through program that you registered for here. So you don't have to go look for them. I'll throw them in there right after this. So an event and offer calendar. And this is great when you're evaluating who you're going to collaborate with, where you're going to market your stuff, what kind of promotions you're going to have, and keep it consistent and sustainable. That's what the event and offer calendar is for. That is one of the biggest keys to avoid burnout. Document and asset structure. And that is making sense of things, having your documents, your assets being, workbooks, ebooks, whatever resources that you have for your clients, have it easily searchable, have standard practices, standard operating procedures for yourself so that you can find things easily, because nothing sucks the life out of a call more than not knowing how to find something that you're referring to when you're talking to a client on a call, right? When you're sitting there, just let me find that document for you. I think I might have called it this. Maybe I called it that. Maybe it's just called doc.2, or maybe it's just called untitled spreadsheet, have structure in place for that. So let me know what ones you would find the most helpful. If you're in the chat, tell me about it. If you're in Zoom here, let me just see where the heck my chat went. There it is. You saw me on the summit the other day. Yeah, Karen. Okay. Oh, no problem. Shamika had to take off. Oh, la la la. My chat finally popped back up. Woo, 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 woo. All right. So we've got 1, 3, and 5 then from Elaine. If you guys have, if you're delayed or if you're watching on the replay, let me know and we can talk more about that stuff in the group too. So the other part of what we have going on with these like follow through help with the power and planning, having your business plan set up, is having assistance in networking, evaluating, right? Evaluating who you should be networking with, where you can be networking, researching what would be powerful for you, setting up your positioning and your belief acceptance. So accepting that you're allowed to be positioned where you desire to be positioned in the market, in your industry, and accepting it, embodying it, allowing it to be real, right? The investment strategies, and we talked a little bit about that earlier too. It's like all of Jarkeisha says all of them are relevant. they are. And Tiffany's asking which would I recommend first. And we'll go over that. I'll just go through these ones here. So your investment strategy is something that you can set up as like a forecasting kind of thing. when you know which events are coming up, when you know when you forecast how many people you should be working with at a certain point in the year, you can decide, I'm going to need to hire a VA and a graphic designer on June 3rd to set up my promo and my launch for this event, right? And then I'll keep one of them on and move forward until November when I need two more people to come on. And you can work your way through investments that way, as well as investing in passive income stuff. And that's the next thing, passive wealth creation. And if you looked at my member vault, you'll see that there's about 9 courses that are set there, and I promote those constantly. And they require, all but 2 require no time from me. They're pre-recorded. They are do at your own pace, but they bring income in to my business regularly. Every week, I sell at least 3 to 5, sometimes 7, 12 courses that I do nothing with. And so that's passive wealth creation, as well as investing in other people's businesses. When you get to a certain point in your business where you have a pool of cash and you're able to invest in property, in other people's ventures, and get residual income like royalties from that. And we'll talk about that too in the group. And then performance evaluation. You need somebody who will get real with you about what you're doing in your business, what's useful, what's not, where you need improvement, where you can just totally let things go, right? So these are these are kind of a second stance. And the reason why I broke them out this way is because that's the way that I teach them in my group programs. There's the part of setting the foundation here with your boundaries, with your plan, with your business headquarters, with your structure, with your offers, and the clarity in those things. And then there is work in it, right? And then there's your on the runway and your work in the plan, and you're following through on the things. But think about if you have this aspect of your business set up so that it completely reflects exactly what you want and what you need to show up strong for your family, for your friends, for everybody, including yourself and your clients. This, running it, working it, you're a model, you know what I mean. You do your little turn on the catwalk. That part comes so much easier when this part is 100% you, right? So Tiffany asked, what, I just picked up my phone, which is foundational, which would I recommend first? First, your life and business plan, honestly. Your life and business plan needs to be there so that you can be aware of what is going on, of what's going on and what isn't that you think might be going on. Sometimes, I'm saying sometimes so we don't trigger the trigger, so we don't get triggered. Sometimes you get so caught up in your thoughts and thinking about things and brainstorming things that you don't even realize you haven't taken action on it yet. So you've poured so much energy into thinking about things. You've poured so much energy into, evaluating, reevaluating, thinking, rethinking it, that you feel like you've worked on it for 5 years. And then you realize that you haven't actually even taken a step out in doing it. You haven't even made any kind of dent in the work that is required to achieve said result, right? And so when we set up, when you have this life and business plan set up, you can see what you've been doing. Hi, my name is Guilty. Hey, Guilty. You can see what you've done or what you're currently doing. And we can track the results that it's brought you, if any. And then you can see what you want to be doing to bring yourself clients, to get you the results that you want. And how, and really it's seeing how far off you are from actually living life and showing up in your business the way that you want to, the way that feels good to you, the way that's empowering to you. And when we work through the plan, you'll see the balance start to develop, where you have more time for friends, you have more time for yourself, your kids, for the hobbies that maybe you don't have but you've always wanted, right? And that in doing that, it makes the work that you do in your business, it makes every action that you take in your business that much more powerful and more intentional and more impactful. So you're not just wasting your time making white noise and trying to get engagement on social media or on your ads or with whatever content that you share, but you're showing up and you're setting up this post to get that result. And it's not just because you had spare time and you felt like telling people a story, because you're busy living your life otherwise. But this is work time. Boom. This is lifetime. Boom. This is me time. This is learning time. This is serving others time. And you start to see that balance being built and your life feels so much more fulfilled. And I talked to you guys earlier in the hour about rebuilding, right? Rebuilding my life from zero, from negative $800,000 actually. Because I was in debt almost $1 million during my divorce, and rebuilding that to positives uh seemed like such a freaking daunting task. And it was like going from having my dream house to having a house that I rented, and then it was like all my furniture, all my dishes, all my favorite dishes, just ridiculous things that you don't consider. And then it was like, oh my God, I have a used TV on on an end table, like a coffee table in the corner, and we're watching like Disney Plus or whatever. And it's just like, how the hell did this happen? Right. And it and having the experiences, like I didn't have a car for a little bit. Um and then I ended up in a couple of months, it sounds ridiculous, but it was in a couple of months I had enough money to go buy a car cash. And but in the rebuilding stage, it's just like I'm not, you don't feel fulfilled in that rebuilding stage, in that struggling stage, right? And you're like, how am I supposed to show up empowered and empower people when I feel like shit, right? It's like, this isn't going well. My house is a mess. This doesn't reflect what I actually want. I'm not going golfing. What are the things that make you feel good? I'm not going golfing. I'm not out on the water. I don't have the money to go camping. I don't have the money to travel. How the hell am I supposed to feel empowered and bring this message of empowerment to people when I'm not feeling it at all? Like I'm so far from fulfilled, but I'm supposed to show up and fake it. And I'm a horrible faker. Oh God. And if we ever hang out in the future in real life, uh my face is my worst enemy, and I just can't. It tells the truth. My face tells the truth. And so faking it just was not a thing for me. And I know it's not for a lot of you guys. And if we click, if we connect, you're real people. I'm a real person, right? And and so what I do is pull in every aspect of life and allow you to experience what you want to experience at the end game now, like right now. No fucking excuses. Sorry for the F bomb. No excuses, no crap. No, "Oh, I can't afford that." Okay, you can. There are ways that you need to be resourceful. We need to set this up for you. I spent 2, 3 years, renting a house downtown in my hometown with my kids. It was a nice place. I wanted a boat. I wanted to be near the water. I wanted to be, you know, in a place where I felt empowered and I wasn't. So I went for a walk to the waterfront every freaking day. I made space for a waterfront life in my life. So I went for a walk to the water. I went and hung out where the boaters are. I went and did those things and had that experience, had the boating experience by being on the docks, right? So that boating experience is there. You don't have the boat, but you're on the docks, you're hanging out with around the boats, you're hanging out with the boaters. If you want to be a member of the country club, you know, go get a sand wedge and a golf ball and putt around on your front lawn, chip around, I guess, on your front lawn or at the park or something. Go to a driving range for $5 and just have that experience at a starting point. Because then what happens when the opportunities present themselves, you have the space in your life for it. When I first started coaching, I started with one-on-one clients and I wrote in my planner, like a day planner, 3 spots. I think it was 3 or 5 spots on a Friday, like Friday at 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock, kind of a deal, one-on-one clients. And I marked that out. So when Friday came, during that time, I did the work to obtain the clients. And I posted, hey, I have 5 one-on-one spots for clients. If you want to get organized, if you want to set your priorities and reach your goals, I'm your gal, kind of thing. And I booked 3 of those spots within like a day because I made space for the one-on-one clients to exist. So your life and business plan, your schedule will fill itself up. And it might be full of things that you aren't proud of. It might be full of things that aren't moving you forward and are just mindless tasks if you don't take control of it as much as possible, right? So seeing how much time you have and what you want to be experiencing in your life and your business is foundational. That's the longest answer to a question, Tiffany. I would say that is the thing I would start with so that you can start experiencing life and coming at it, feeling fulfilled, knowing where you need to go, what you want, the action that you need to take, what you will allow and what you won't, so that you can do all of these things in your business as well. Create the passive wealth, have your investment strategy set up, position yourself where you want to be and believe that that's where you should be and make it all happen. So if you're not sure what it is that you need, I'm inviting you guys on a call. And yet in yesterday's email, I said there were a couple of announcements that I was making at the end of our workshop here together. And so I want you to feel free to hop on a call with me and we can sort it out. But let's do this exercise first, okay? So, oh, my daughter's going to be home from school soon. That's cool. So, exercise time. I want you guys to write something down if you can for me, for yourselves, actually. We need to write this down. And this is about embodiment, gratitude, and visualization. And if you know about these things, you know how powerful they are. Mind over matter kind of a thing, mindset work and realization, manifestation, right? So if we look at embodying, being grateful for, and visualizing what it is you want to achieve, we can set up your plan and we can set up the action that you need to take to support it. So I want you to situate yourself, just imagine yourself as whatever your goal is. Okay. Health wise, family, financial, whatever your goal is, picture yourself as that person. Okay. And this is how you're going to answer the questions from that point of view. You have achieved it. Congratulations, you're amazing. You did all the things that you wanted to do. What did you do to get there? What did you do to get to where you're on Oprah right now? Okay, if you're a fan of Oprah, you're on Oprah right now being interviewed. What did you do to get to where you are? What was the day that you decided you were going to do it? And what did you decide today after this workshop with Leslie? What did you decide today that you were going to do that got you to where you are? What was the decision? What have you guys decided today as we've been talking about setting up your business so that you can actually follow through on the action that you need to take? What have you decided? Have you made any decisions today on what's going to change your life? And how did you take your power back? You are a multimillionaire. You've helped thousands of people. You are known across the board, and people are looking to work with you, and they want to share your expertise and the word on the street, and you see yourself on Time Magazine, okay? What did you do to take your power back from that struggle that you were feeling? What did you do to take your power back from being stuck, from trying so much? How did you end up in the place that you are? It's time for me to invest, trust in a coach again. Yes, and know what? There is a whole land of trustworthy coaches and experts, and there is a whole land of professionals working from their homes. So what is your next move? What happened in your journey to your millionaireism? You know, people are your business is doing the work for you while you're at the beach having a nap under an umbrella. Your business is still generating income for you. What happened in your journey from struggle and chaos and not enough time and not enough energy to all the time in the world, living the life of your dreams? Your business is successful. You're working with the best clients that you could imagine. And you didn't even know people were out there that could be so connected to you. What happened that you're grateful for? Right? What happened that you're grateful for that got you there? So who wants to share? And Elaine's already shared. She's decided it's time to invest and trust in a coach. You'd love to know more about what I offer and if you still offer one-on-one. Well, that leads me into my next slide. It might actually. So yeah, if you guys want to share what you did to achieve your success, what you did to get the results that you wanted, what you did to embody and become that person. Was it something did you build your life and business plan and realize how much you've been sabotaging yourself? Did you build a business headquarters to get out of your head so much and allow the systems that you set up to support your business to do the work for you? Did you implement boundaries in your business and in your life so that you can easily do the work in a moral way, right? In what's valuable to you? Did you create and stick to your offer calendar? Did you set up your assets and your document structure? Did you do any of those things to get to where you wanted to be? I would love to know what you think would make the most impact on your business. I would love to know it. So now that you know, and you felt it, you visualized it, I want to know what's next for you guys, because to answer your question, Elaine, I do have a mastermind and mentorship experience that's coming up. And it is a group program called the Shift Beyond Mastermind and Mentorship. And what we do in the first month, and that's why the first month is $500, is set up your business and life plan. We set up your business headquarters. We set up the calendar, the offer, and all of it. And it is $500 for that first month and $250 a month for 6 months. Or if you want to extend it to a 12-month payment, it's $167. So in that, I had those questions, the 1 to 5s, set up on 2 different slides because the way that this mastermind is set up and the way that it worked so well the last round that we had was it's a 100-day experience. So we do 100 days of setup, of coaching, of nailing down the business processes and gaining that data to look at your performance to make sure that what we're doing is exactly what we should be doing for you to scale. And then we do 90 days of coaching and mentorship that takes you through peak performance, that takes you through follow through, habit building, um, the mentorship and networking and growth strategies. And it moves you through so that you are shifting past all of the stuff that has held you back before. So I have shifting through the popularity contest, shifting through the limits that you thought were possible, shifting through all of it, right? The success beyond the success, shifting beyond the happiness and fulfillment that you've experienced thus far. And it's really set up to do that. And the other thing that I wanted to share with you guys is that I'm knocking off that $500 for the first month and we're just doing 6 payments of 250 or 12 payments of 167 for those of you who are here and who register before this weekend so that we can hop on a call and get your plan set up. And usually those 1 hour calls are $556 to set up your business plan, but I'm not charging you for that aspect of the mastermind. And we're just going to shift right into coaching, working through the plan, working through your business headquarters, and really getting you set up so that your business can grow in the ways that you've been wanting it to for the last however many years, right? So that is the offer that I'm putting out there for you guys today. This is the group program that starts July 15th. If you are looking for one-on-one work, we can do that too. My one-on-one fees vary depending on how much support that you want and need, but we can easily just do the one-on-one call to set up your business plan. But if you're looking for a 3 or 6 month coaching package, it varies anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a month, depending on what it is that you're looking for. So we can talk about that. If you want to book a call, we can talk about the possibilities for you in joining the mastermind or in looking at a custom one-on-one package for you, because my one-on-one packages are all custom. So guys, thank you so much for being here and for asking your questions as we've been going. I have to run to the bus stop and get my daughter. And it's the last day of school, so no more lunch packing for me, no more bus stop runs, and I'm going to be here for you guys this summer, even when we are traveling in our new trailer. So yes, let's talk. I'll shoot you a message or you shoot me a message and we will get you set up. So thanks so much, you guys, for being here. Love you all. I will see you in the group. The group is going to be hopping this summer. And let's get your businesses hopping too. Cool. I'll see you soon. You are welcome. Thank you. Mwah. Talk to you later.